Sonny, what's up, man?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Hey, yo, thank you for, hanging out with your boys today.
Of course, man. I appreciate y'all reaching out.
And of course, whenever I think of Sonny Bamboo, I think of MTV Fight Club. I think of, what is it? You did Don't Flop. King of the Dot.
Battle Rap Circuit.
Of course. Did you ever rock out A3C?
Of course, man.
Yes,
we actually,
A3C,
in the past 3 years, I've had a stage at A3C throwing a battle, and we do performances as well. And hopefully, we're gonna do it again this year.
Cool. All right.
I hope so.
So
I saw that first. Sorry to cut you off. That first
man.
announcement with Wu-Tang. You saw that?
Oh, that's big. Wu-Tang, Dipset, all that. Yeah.
Crazy.
Listen, get us all in there.
But I got you. If I have a stage again, I got you.
We appreciate that.
got you.
But so with that being said, who is Sonny Bamboo?
Shit, man. Just another independent artist out there trying to eat off music. You know what I'm saying?
And of course, man, you were personally you were a beast on the battle scene.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
And of course, I followed you from back in the day. Of course, we won't mention the first time I saw you. we heard that in the conversation. But I guess tell me a little bit about the battle scene, the transition to what you're doing now, and I guess we can start with simply the battle scene.
Well, I come from the era in battle rap that I started was different than this era in the sense that, and I've been involved throughout this. I mean, I'm still involved with battle rap, but when I started battling, you're an MC first, and you battle to promote yourself as an MC. But you're obviously making songs and putting out projects and things like that. Battling is just to kind of prove your skills and sharpen your sword. Nowadays, battle rap has gotten so big that you have a lot of guys that are just battle rappers. They don't make music at all. They don't rap over beats at all.
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying? But when I got into battle rap, it was just one of the things that you had to do as an MC to prove yourself. But now it's like a whole different thing, man. You got guys that are battling that have never rapped on a beat before.
Yeah.
And have no intention of making songs.
Exactly. I'm going to say, because it seems like for now, it seems like a lot of the battles I see, they're not over beats anymore.
Oh yeah, none of them are, man. Battles over beats have been dead for a long time.
Yeah,
long time.
And I mean, you had a brief discussion yesterday. So I mean, let's talk about that, about the whole off the top, the written,
just completely different era. Again, when I first started, it was kind of the tail end of the era where you would show up and sign up. You show up to a club or a bar and sign up. There's 16 guys. You go to 8 to 4 to 2, all in that one night. You don't know who you're going against. It's overbeat. It's freestyle, and you're battling for $100, $200. Yeah. Now you got guys, man. Of course, it's a cappella. It's all written, of course. It's been that way for years. You got guys like the highest paid guys in battle rap can make $40,000 for one battle. Wow. $40,000 for one battle. Wow. I'm not saying I ever made it to that level, but goddamn, man. It's a whole different, it's become its own subgenre within hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Whereas again, before it was just one of the things as an MC that you needed to do to prove yourself, Yeah.
So I guess with these changes in the battle scene, would you say it's, is it hurting it more than helping it, or do you feel like it's just one of those things where it just changes and whoever gravitates to it will gravitate to it?
Honestly, man, I think that it's made battle rap become 100 times bigger than it once was. You have guys that are legitimately like celebrities within battle rap, whereas before battling was just like something you did at the lunchroom table and at house parties, and you know what I'm saying? Whereas now you have events with hundreds, if not thousands in some cases, of people coming out, guys getting paid thousands of dollars. So I think, in terms of battle rap, it's it's light years ahead of where it started out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So with you, I know it's one of those things where, is it one of those things?
Sorry to cut you off. Do you mind if you get something on my phone just because, in 2018 you got to document everything you do, man. I feel like I'm laying. Sorry. Just 20 seconds, man, from back there. So
no, you're good. So with you, you feel like, I guess, do you do it as much? And if not, do you feel like it's just one of those things now? Because besides the battling, I saw you as still do, a super dope MC.
Thank you, man. Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, man, I haven't actually battled in 3 years, maybe 4 years now. The last one was against DNA, and I've always been involved from damn near when I first started with throwing the events, like we talked about with A3C.
Yeah.
So even when I'm not in the ring myself, I'm still organizing and promoting events and hosting battles. So that's how I've kind of stayed connected to it, even when I'm not actively battling. And I haven't battled in a few years, man. And people ask me all the time if I'm going to again, and I might. I don't know for sure. But at the end of the day, to bring it back to when I first started battling, like, it's always been about the music.
Yeah.
Always. Like, I love battle rap. It's a huge part of my history in hip hop, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get back in there or not, man.
Yeah.
I'll continue to throw the events, of course. That'll probably never stop.
Yeah. And of course, I follow everything you do on Instagram. I'm not a stalker, but I do follow everything
you do.
Likewise,
I
follow everything you do, and I do notice, just like you said, of course, you may not be battling, but it seems like you're always in, I guess, you're always in the business. I mean,
it'll never, that's good, man. You're good. Thank you. It'll always be a part of, my situation in hip hop, just because I'm so tied to it, and I have been for so long. And the most recent situation that, other than throwing the A3C battles each year, I was hosting, Don't Flop is the league out of the UK. Yeah. And when they formed the Don't Flop USA branch, or whatever you want to call it, I was kind of running and hosting that. But we haven't thrown an event in about a year for Don't Flop USA. Yeah. But that's the most recent hosting situation. Before that, I'm sure you're familiar with Grind Time. I was doing the Grind Time Midwest shit.
Yeah. Definitely.
Battle rap is crazy, man. Battle rap is just blowing up into its own industry. It's wild, man.
Yeah, and of course, before we transition to something else, I definitely want to say your battle versus No Can Do, because to me that's always been my favorite battles. Because for one, everybody knows No Can Do is, to me, he's like a West Coast legend. In the
absolutely.
Hands down, and of course, I think that was a big battle, and of course, I have my favorite on who won it. But when you're on a stage that big with people like that, what goes through your head? I mean, in regards to just simply preparing for something like that, and then after that.
It is. It's such a process to prepare for these, man, because you get your material together. In this era, of course, it's all written, it's all prepared, and I compare it to if you're like a MMA fighter and you're studying a guy's style and you're training for weeks and weeks in advance to kind of prepare for that person. It's the same thing. You're thinking about what they do well, don't do well, what weaknesses they might have that you can kind of hit. And for every battle, man, it's a lot of hard work preparing and memorizing. For that particular one, it was in New York, and I want to say 2011. Yeah. And it was a strange situation, man, because it was actually a tournament where the winner of the tournament was going to go on tour and open for Immortal Technique.
Oh yeah, and actually he hosted that battle, right?
He did, man, and that was the first round of the tournament. If you're familiar with my dude Nestle, he battled Marv that night. Yeah. Same event. And the thing with me and No Can Do is that and I don't know why he would do this. He came and he pretty much freestyled 90% of his shit, and dog, when in this era, if you're going against somebody that knows what they're doing and you come to and freestyle, it's like a 16-wheeler or an 18-wheeler running over a fucking Dixie cup. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you come to a gunfight with a fucking pocket knife. It's just not, you're never gonna, you know what I mean?
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, now, slight transition. So, you're a dope MC, or you are a dope MC, but you're a battle rapper. You handle the battle rapping, the business side. So now let's talk about being the MC.
Yeah.
All right. A little rumor is you're working on a new release.
I am, man. It's been the last project that I released has actually been, and I'm embarrassed to say it's been 3 years. And the new one is a full-length album, and it's titled Vita. And it's 90% done. It's being mixed and mastered right now.
Explain the name. The album.
The name comes from, originally it was going to be a 3-part series where I had the first one being titled Cindy, and it was kind of supposed to be based off models, right? Like famous models. So Cindy Crawford was kind of the inspiration behind the first one. And then Vida Guerrera, is inspiration about the second one. So that's and it also means life in Spanish, live life. So it's it's kind of goes along with that theme of the models.
That's perfect. So I guess on and I guess writing a song versus opponent, Is there any contrast, or is it all
apples and oranges?
Like the same
apples and oranges.
Hunger,
absolutely, man. Apples and oranges. You know, writing for an opponent. I mean, battle rap is just so vicious these days, and it's just like you're in the ring with a guy that's trying to embarrass you and say the worst things he could ever possibly say about you. And like writing a song, obviously, you know, you don't want to be one of these guys that all the 16s that you write are like battle rap verses, and you're talking about like how good you. It's like it's like you stop rapping about rapping. You know what I'm saying? I hate that shit when dudes like all their songs are just like talking about how dope they are. It's just like, you know. So yeah, songwriting and writing for battles is just completely different.
Definitely. Yeah. So on your on this release and of course your other releases, I mean, when it comes to your production, what do you look for? Tell me more about. I guess.
You know, honestly, man, I'm usually looking for beats that sound as I don't want to use the word commercial, but just like the most now sounding beats as possible. I'm not a guy that really tends to put out an entire project of like boom bap kind of stuff. Not that I have anything against that kind of hip hop, but I want my shit to sound current. The people that I'm working with, the majority of the album was done by a team out of Louisiana. The Reference is the name, and my buddy Ness, who does beats as well, did a couple on there. But 90% is done by this team from Louisiana.
That's awesome. Is there a release date on this?
You know, currently, man, I'm actually looking for a venue for the release party, and I'll definitely reach out to you. I don't know how often y'all get down here.
I mean, listen, you call, we'll come.
My G. So I'm trying to figure that out. There isn't a date set yet, but like I said, man, we're in mixing, so we're really fucking close, man.
Okay, perfect. And I know. So let me ask you, like, what type of MCs did you grow up on? Who?
It's a good question, man. You know, Outkast.
Okay, of
course, Atlanta. I'm like, you know, I was like a Tupac guy growing up, you know, kind of like cliche, legendary kind of stuff like that. Big on just Outkast, Goody Mob stuff, being from Atlanta. And also, to be honest with you, man, and not that like my sound or style like reflects this at all, but like when I grew up in Atlanta, like I was also like super into like Pastor Troy. And like, you know, Camp and like that kind of shit, just because that was like what was super popping at that time. But yeah, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, based on saying that, it's a question I like to ask. I mean, what would be your dream collab, producer or MC? And is it one of those things where if the dream collab happens, would you have to run to their style, or is something you want them to come down and see if they can?
You know who I always hear is guilty of that. You ever heard this people say that about Game, that every time he's on the song with somebody else, he like tries to sound like them. And I'm not sure if I even like rock with that theory or not, but I've heard that about him. I don't think that's.
I think it's true though.
You do think it's true?
On Meek's album, he sounds like Meek.
For real?
When he stopped working with Dr. Dre on the second album, he sounded like Dr. Dre. Anyway, but
that's crazy.
I do see.
Yeah, I don't really like feel one way or another about that, but I have heard that theory. I think that you should. The idea of collaborating with somebody is obviously you still want to be you. I think it's a little odd to try to like, you know, match however the other person sounds on a record. But as far as like a dream collab, these days, like who I'm the biggest fan of are like, you know, you're like the Kendrick Cole, Drake kind of people. I understand and respect what like the younger generation is listening to. You know, all the Lil whoever, all that shit. Like I get it. Yeah. I'm not like trying to be like an old head hater on any of that shit, but like as far as who I would want to work with, it's like the Kendrick Cole, Drake kind of people. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, I guess where we go. Drop your all your social media handles, your tags.
Yes, sir.
Besides, of course, you said the listening party you're working on. Any other
right. Everything is at Sonny Bamboo, and it's Sonny with an O, so it's SONNYBAMBOO. And all you got to do is throw me in Google and YouTube, man, and a million things come up. So,
definitely. Yeah. Well, look, we appreciate you, man.
I appreciate y'all.